Come on, YouTube. You can do it. Come on, YouTube. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Alright. I don't know what it's going to take to recover this damn truck. These trucks. It's been a mess. Now, I did see somebody put out a video about how terrible this truck is. I have never thought it was that bad. I like the speed that it carries. These are probably not the right tires for it, though. But I think they'll be better in the snow than the chain tires in this thing are fairly thin. Fairly narrow. So I'm going to try it with this. There's a fair bit of mud on this route and a fair bit of deep snow. This has got 51-inch tires. Rio, what's up? That's awesome, Rio. I like that. #1 sentient fried good. That's perfect, dude. How you doing this morning? That's hilarious. I know I've got a fuel tank in here somewhere. I can pick that up. Too much wheel spin. See if I can rescue this A and K and then rescue the next one. You are fine this morning. Hopefully you got some sleep for a change. I did not sleep well, unfortunately. Okay, we're on a rescue mission. We've got to have the beacons on. $8,000 for recovery. Yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Hard mode. Pulling 5-gallon gas out of that thing. Tires seem to do a pretty good job in the snow. I don't know how they're going to do in the ice without chains, however. Mud tire and ice don't seem to go that well together. Whoops. Change my mode. There we go. Yeah, thanks. I noticed that just before you before I saw your post, your chat post there. I had it in screenshot mode. Yeah, at least I had the mic on this morning. Hey, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I appreciate you letting me know. Alright, let's see if we can keep from popping these damn balloon tires on this ice. Let's see. I think I'll go this way and then double back and pick up the... Oh! 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 Here, we'll just slow this thing to a crawl. Ice is brutal on tires, dude. Morning, Zach. Ice Doritos, it's exactly it. Turning circle on this thing isn't great, that's for certain. I just don't think it's that bad of a truck. I've used it many times. I quite like it. I like the speed of it. Comes with its own crane. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Yet another thing in its favor. The crane's pretty strong, which is nice. It's not as strong as the... Oh. Well, try it this way. Drop the anchors out. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. I haven't watched qualifying yet, so no spoilers. I'll probably watch that after the stream here. All right, let's see if I can grab this still from that distance. What's going on? Is it freaking stuck in there or something? Oh my god. Alright, here's what I'll do. Let's just pull that truck out of there. So we're not sitting on ice. City Flyer, how are you doing this morning? I'm in full truck recovery mode here. We've got 3 incapacitated trucks so far. The deadly ice Doritos. I also like the inside of the cab of this thing. Look at that, it's like a living room. Get your own living room in here. You got a workbench. Look, he's got tools up there. You got a workbench. You got, nothing wrong with the Bandit. I don't know why people don't like the Bandit. People would be hating on the poor Bandit. Go, Bandit, go. It is. It's a hotel cab, right? Exactly. It's got a nice. It's got a nice capacity in the roof rack. It is a little narrow, so it does get a little flippy sometimes. I will grant you that. Again, it's not a perfect truck, but it's not bad. At least not my estimation. Maybe I'm just a softie for trucks called Bandit. Alright. Is it? I haven't noticed that. It did, Rio? Yeah. When I was running through the snow earlier, it was like 3.5. It's not great, but it's no A and K or... there's definitely trucks that seem to be... that's the thing. There are some... you look at the size of the Kenworth, and its fuel economy is twice as good as this thing is, so there is that. There we go. Well, and that's what I've got on this is the top engine. So. That's why we carry a scout trailer full of fuel. Morning, Zeb. How you doing? Oops. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Actually, I could probably turn this and lock it down because I'm not hauling cargo, right? Let's do that. There we go. Alright, restore the crane. Oops. Fat from that. Pack trucks and trailers. There we go. Go ahead and refuel. Oh, I don't want to take it out of that. There we go. Alright, let's see if we can flip the A and K over. Zeb, how you doing this morning? Oh. Damn ice, man. Ice is just killing stuff. Okay, these tires aren't great for snow. As long as I keep the wheel spin down, it's alright. No, it doesn't. I mean, 40 gallons is a little small. Where am I going? I don't even know where I'm going. Yeah, it is kind of tippy. Yeah, the suspension's kind of bouncy and it's narrow. Yeah, 40 gallons is nothing. I have supplemented with the 230 gallons on top of it. All right, let's plan out our next route here. So, where's the A and K is here? No, A and K is where's the A and K? Oh, that's right. They're on the other map. Dope. All right, so we'll go here and here and here, here, and on to Lake Ribert, however it's pronounced. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I have never really had much trouble with it. I mean, it's been a decent truck. It's not a great truck by any stretch, but and you're right. You guys are right. The small fuel tank is a real problem. But it gets through some fairly tough terrain without too much trouble, so I'm not going to dog it too hard. Alright, more iced Doritos ahead. Just keep it nice and slow. Hopefully I can keep the suspension and tire damage to a minimum. Jeez, I mean, I'm barely moving. Come on. We'll go around this way, see if that works better. Christmas. You just can't get any speed. Go Buzz Cola, what's going on? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm still rocking the music, man. 7-Eleven exclusive flavored Doritos. Absolutely. Absolutely. Buzz Cola is the creator of the music. I will turn it off here though, because it does get a bit much. I need to make some more cuts. It's just what region has the best music? I don't know. I guess it depends on your musical taste more than anything else. And most of the regions don't have anything. I know some people really like the music in here. Again, I think it's just a matter of, what your preferences are. I haven't run into any. Yeah, exactly. I haven't run into any region that caters to my musical taste, but Yukon is okay. I'll have to make note of that when I go Yukon eventually. Exactly. Buzz, how you been doing, man? All right. Oh, nice, dude. Well, I mean, if you get on my in Discord and sign up, we can definitely arrange that. Nobody has signed up so far, so you're on my Discord, aren't you? Yeah, you are. That's where I got the music from. Yeah, just go into the SnowRunner notes and let me know that you want to do co-op next weekend, and we'll do it. Yeah, no, that's not a problem, man. I understand. Deep snow is going to be tough for this thing. I understand. Yeah, I was busy last weekend. I would have done some co-op last weekend, but real life got in the way. Weekend before that as well. Crazy stuff, family emergency stuff. So it's the month of April has not gotten off to the best start. What is my Discord? Okay, hold on a second here. I got to get in the habit of putting that up there every day. I know it's in the descriptions, but oops. Do and drop that in that chat, and then pin it. Whoops. That's not what I meant. That's not what I want to do. Why did it do that? Oh, crap. Yeah, here, we'll just remove that. There we go. Try again. Nope, stop. Copy. There we go. Like a computer noob all of a sudden. There we go. And then we'll pin that. And then we'll drop it over here in Twitch. Paste. And we'll pin that. There we go. Be in DC May 3rd. All right. got business in DC. It is May 3rd. Oh, this month has flown by. I can't believe it's the 20th already. Mud, no problem. Snow, a little slow. Like a ventriloquist? Because I'm a big Jeff Dunham fan, so... I've never heard of Randy Philface. Felt face. Okay, that's good. That makes sense. So, but so it's a puppet versus a ventriloquist. Okay. I guess aren't they this? Well, I don't know. You don't see the human, right? Yeah. Jim Henson, but funnier. All right, let's see. Oop, excuse me. Jeez, where that came from. All right. Where is... Okay, I've got... So there's the A and K, and there's the other truck. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. You're excellent. Yeah, like I said, if you go to the SnowRunner notes, there's just some general rules for doing co-op, and then you can just drop your gamer tag in there, or you can DM. Just tell me in there that you're interested, and then send me a DM with your gamer tag and what platform you're on and all that stuff, and we will try to get you in next weekend. Turn the beacons on. There we go. Now this will be interesting because this thing, though it seems narrow, I guess with these tires it's wider. That's weird. There we go. Yeah. No, that's fine. I'm just glad you joined the Discord. I need to get more active on that. It's just it's hard between the streaming schedule, work schedule, and just real life. Staying really involved in the Discord is not the easiest thing in the world. Only so much time in a day. No, dude. I worked on it some yesterday. So here's the deal. I've got the Jeep. The Jeep is in the shop being worked on. Once the Jeep is fixed and sold, I'm going to take some of that money. If I haven't fixed the Kia, take some of the money, send it to the shop, have it fixed. I may sell it and get a new car because I'm tired of dealing with old cars, honestly. The Kia is not that old, but it is clearly not a reliable piece of machinery. It has had a lot of work done to it. What are you doing, cat? What are you doing? Yeah, lemon law, I mean, it's... No, it's... Unfortunately, this is... It's... The lemon law is really tough criteria to meet. And considering how old the car is and how many miles it's got on and everything, yeah, unfortunately, it's not. If I had just bought it from someplace recently, there are consumer protections for that kind of stuff, but this circumstance is just... And again, the problem is that the bolt won't come out. So I put some heat to it. I think I made some progress yesterday, but not much. Like I said, it's just a money thing. If I had the money to just take it to the shop and have my guy fix it, I would. And once I sell the Jeep, I will. So that's probably what's going to happen with that. But I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of messing with old cars. I mean, I've got a Subaru with over 200,000 miles on it, and that's what we're driving right now. We're sharing that car. It's just not a good situation. So, all right. Well, let's see. Let me back up and get Sooty out of here, because Sooty's not going to do anything except provide fuel, if anything. So, but yeah, it's been a pain in the ass for a while, for sure. All right. Tell you what, as far as scouts go, this has been one of the best mods I've ever used. Just in how it looks, how it sounds, and everything else. Did such a good job. I mean, the interior is decent. It's not... But when you start looking at, like, the work this guy did on the suspension and whatnot... Yeah, this is a Land Cruiser, 80 series Land Cruiser. But look at the work he did on the suspension. Let's see if I can get a little closer to it. I mean, he's got... They're not Fox, they're Fab, but he's got, you know, oil reservoir shocks on it. He's got the reinforced steering bar. I mean, it's clean. It really is a clean mod. ARB bumper on the front, which I'm surprised ARB hasn't said something about, but it's nice. And you can see it's right-hand drive. My brother's is a Japanese domestic market as well. So this is a Japanese model. It's got the diesel. So, but like I said, it's a clean mod. All right, let's get the Bandit. Let's see if we can get the Bandit in here and recover the ANK. Not sure exactly how I'm going to do that with this stupid tree here. Might be able to pull it past the tree. See if we can pull it past the tree. Lawyers, yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's not that many people. I mean, there's plenty of people playing this game, but not like Fortnite. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, and Fortnite wouldn't put... Fortnite's got enough money, they can actually buy the license, so... Alright, let's get some gearing in here. Get the... There we go. That may have actually worked really well. Come on, flip. There you go. All right, easy as pie. All right, so let's go on to the next recovery, see if the bandit can do that. Yeah, that was clean and easy, wasn't it? It's nothing like yesterday. I should have taken this out first, apparently. Easy as pie. I mean, apple's a pretty easy pie. I guess cherry is too, but blueberry, you need a lot of blueberries, and that can get right messy. But apple's probably the easiest, I would think. You know, I think I'm just going to go straight here. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Whew, that was close. These tires do help the stability on this thing for sure. Yeah, well, yeah, I agree, sir. While, and frankly, pizza's a pretty easy pie. Probably easier than any of those other ones, to be honest. I've made plenty of pizzas. I've made some regular pies too. Pizza's the best and the easiest. Yeah, people could say what they want about the old Bandit, but as long as you put a 230-gallon fuel tank in the bag, it's fine. Pepperoni, black olives, and mushrooms. Black olives not usually, but I do like them on pizza, so that's a good choice. I know this you may unsubscribe. I don't know what kind of pizza guy you are, but I do like my Hawaiian quite a bit. My go-to though is just pepperoni. Pepperoni mushrooms is a good second step. But oh dude, so we've been going to this little pizza place. Yeah, I need to shut this engine off to go through this. We've been going to this little pizza place. Have to be in a funny mood for Hawaii. We've been going to this pizza place for a very long time. And to be fair, I mean I've been going to this pizza place since, let's see, 2004, maybe 2002. So it's been through 1, 2, 3, 4 owners. Let's see, great guy. Yeah, so 4 owners. We went there last night to get pizza, and they wouldn't answer their phone, which was a little weird. So we get there. He sold it. I'm hoping he sold it. It's under new management, so I'm hoping he didn't. You know, they didn't get forced into bankruptcy or something. Even though I was in a good. Jose and I got along great. You know, we talked about business quite a bit. So I don't think he was bankrupt. I think somebody offered him good money for it, and he took it because he said he was getting close to retirement. So, and it's a little hole in the wall pizza place. The first guy that owned it was Greek, and he would disappear. He would go back to Greece for the entire month of August. Not really. I mean, it's not rural. It's you know, it's near the city. But you know, it's a small, or not small. I mean, there's a lot of people in the neighborhood, but it's an older neighborhood. Most of the houses are built in the 20s, and it's on the north side of the city. It's a fairly affluent area. Higher middle income, I guess. I mean, houses are like 300,000 to 400,000, which I know up in Northern Virginia is, you know, that's a shack. But here you could get a pretty decent house for that. But it's built in the 20s. But anyway, so that guy sold it to a a guy from Honduras, and he and his family ran it for several years. And then we moved away from that neighborhood, so I didn't go there for a while. And then when I moved back to the city, this new guy who's from El Salvador, and I guess, let's see, I've been here 2 years. I think he's been there like 6. But he sold it, so I gotta start a whole new relationship. I mean, I literally would call and say, hey, how's it going? And they'd be like, you want a large pizza, half pepperoni, half cheese? I mean, that's how often I order from there. So we were on a first name basis, and they knew exactly what I wanted. So that's the go-to. But I'm hoping we just, the pizza was excellent pizza. And it's like, so is this new place? Are they going to get all new suppliers? Is the pizza still going to be good? So we're going to have to find out. But they weren't open yesterday, so we didn't get pizza. All right, there's my pizza story. All right, let's see if we can recover the... Oh, no, they were closed because it's new management. The sign said, sorry for the inconvenience, closed, new management. So, again, I hope he sold it and is retired, because that man worked nonstop. He worked very hard. But I feel bad, like his cashier just had a baby. And, that was, I don't know if it was her sole job. I think it was her second job, but still. Let's see. I don't know what I'm latching onto here. Where does Bandit go? Amazon's always hiring, yeah. Yeah, Amazon's scheduling is not conducive to new mothers. But, I mean, she's got... I don't know if they're married, but, the kid's dad is there every day working as well, so they were both working there. And they were young, so... But you're right, Amazon is always hiring. I have no problem with working at Amazon. I know it's not the greatest work environment, but, you get benefits. You got a family, you get benefits, and it pays. The work can be monotonous, and, I mean, I've heard all the horror stories, but when you need a job. That's the interesting thing with Amazon is everybody says how horrible it is to work there, but every time they've opened up, I think, 2 distribution centers here. Every time they open up a distribution center, thousands of people apply for like 300 jobs. It's like, people need work. They'll work. Yep. Oh, you working... oh, really? Do you? There you go. Build boxes of walls. There you go. I like it. Yeah, like you said, I think because the company is so big, that's where a lot of the bad press comes from. Now, again, I'm sure not every Amazon, you and I both know that management makes a huge difference. I'm sure some places are run like absolute crap, and some places are great. And I'm sure Amazon tries to keep that under control. But, when you're dealing with humans, you're dealing with humans. I see that in the company I work for. You can have a department that's run by this one person, and they're doing a great job, and so the company gives them a promotion, and the next person comes in, and they don't have a freaking clue what they're doing, and it's awful. Same company, same department, but it's all about who's running the thing, so... Well, Bandit's doing work. I'm not even to the easy button. So you work in... what is OT? I don't know what OT is. I mean, that sounds like overtime to me, so I don't... probably not the best position. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay. Operate trailer. Okay, okay. Okay, I got you. Something like that. All right, cool. All right. Well, seeing as the bandit is doing such a bang-up job, let's see if he can pull this Rio across the... See if we can pull this thing across the gap here. These tires are so good. Yeah, whatever. As long as they're paying you, right? You don't really care what the thing is. Yeah. Now this will be interesting because this bumper on this thing is kind of whack. All right, let's see if we can do that. Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, and you guys have already got... Good morning, Bug. You guys have already got some crazy robotics. I mean, I've seen some of the videos for... Morning. At first, I read that because the screen's kind of far away from me with the chat, and it looked like Mom, and I was like, why is Puffy calling me Mom? I don't... It's like... Well, I mean, you know, whatever your kink is, that's fine, but... Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that truck truly is the easy button in this game, isn't it? And I remember when I first started playing, that was one of the first videos that I saw. It was like, here's what you do: you go get you get the pickup truck, and you get the what was the Fleet Star? Yeah, you get the Fleet Star up and running. You put some good tires on it, and then you change maps to. Whatever the map is, I can't, God, brain this morning. Whatever the map that the Tega's on, you go get the Tega, you recover it, you bring it back, and then you play the rest of the game. I'll be right back. Came around the corner, she stopped, and she backed up with her hackles up, and Bugs just like, was Bugs growling at her or something? What a weirdo. Yeah. No, I'm straight right now. Oh. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Had to get a drink. I was getting thirsty. Thirsty. Puffy, how you doing this morning? All right, so that's done. So the question is, do I use this? Tell you what, let's go get I can see the mess that's going on with the Kenworth. Let's get that cleaned up. Oh Lord. All right. The old bandit cleaned everything up. I'm just gonna get some red wine. Yeah, you got to make money somehow. Well, and that's the thing with Amazon. I mean, watching, like I said, I watched a couple videos on the robotics they use to manage inventory and stuff, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, but the reality is, and I know this is a big discussion with AI as well. Is the reality is that there will be jobs that go away, and then there will be new jobs created by it. So you have a lot of robot arms, yeah. We've got some where we are, and ours is an older plant, but there are certain I work for a chemical company, so there's some stuff that no human really wants to deal with. They're more than happy to let a robot handle it. It's, kind of stuff, and our stuff isn't as sophisticated as, say, Amazon's is, but I mean, it's pretty crazy where the robotics is going, and there is some question about how that's going to be handled, whether it's AI or robots or a combination of the two. And people have to deal with that, but when you look at advancements in technology historically, it's always led to more jobs, not fewer jobs. So, okay, yeah, the Amazon video, the documentary, whatever that I saw, where they were talking about the robotics, was the robots that move the yellow. I guess they're these stacks of inventory, and it moves stuff around so that the worker can pack the box, kind of stuff. And it was pretty cool how it is all set up. Yeah, the big blue hockey puck. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know. So, and I think I was talking to Rio about this yesterday. That company Aptera that I keep watching and kind of rooting for. That's going to make cars. Well, it can't, but what it generally, and I'm not saying this will happen with AI, but generally speaking, when you have a new technology, what it does is it creates new markets for products that then require humans. Now, it's interesting when you look at, and again, I'm going to try to avoid politics on this, but I think it's an interesting subject because of the time we're living in. Again, I'm old enough to remember when you had a phone in your house. There was no personal computers. There was no cell phones. None of this stuff. I mean, the technology that was in my house when I was growing up until I was probably 15 was no different than what was the technology that was in my grandparents' house when they were young adults. I mean, there wasn't, other than microwaves from the 50s, so even then. So there was no from a personal human standpoint, just your everyday life, there wasn't any real significant, other than going from black and white to color TV, there wasn't any significant technological change from how my grandparents lived when they were in their 20s to how I was living when I was 12, 13 years old. And then, of course, we had, the microchip starts developing, and we get computers, and then we get the internet, and then we got cell phones and all this stuff. And I've watched all that go on. What's interesting is that the promise of all that stuff was higher productivity, and while there is in some areas, in others there's not. I mean, anybody who has to manage people with cell phones knows that they aren't more productive because they have a cell phone. And often, if you have to work with a computer, while it does make you more productive, if you apply it correctly, it can also make you less productive. But one of the things that we were always told is that when AI comes along or robotics comes along, that it's going to wipe out blue-collar jobs. The reality is that AI is wiping out white-collar jobs, especially middle management stuff, because you can do middle management type work with AI in a fraction of the time. And I use AI at work, not heavily, but I'm using it more and more and more for answering questions and finding, out information and organizing data and all that stuff. So, I don't know what the future is, but generally speaking, when you have new technology, groundbreaking technology, whether it's the combustion engine or assembly lines or internet or computers, generally the marketplace finds, if there's labor available, supply and demand. If there's a supply of labor, a demand develops. Now I don't know what. Yeah. I don't know what that's going to be. I mean, who knows? I'm sure some people have a pretty good idea. I think I've mentioned before, I listen to the All In podcast, and those guys are pretty plugged into this whole AI stuff. I highly recommend it if you want to kind of get a feel for what's going on in the world of AI and Bitcoin and industry to some degree. I highly recommend that. Even if you don't agree with their politics, and there's people on both sides of the spectrum in that particular podcast, but it's definitely worth listening to. It's fairly entertaining as well, but it's definitely worth listening to what these people are investing in, and whatnot. At least I think so. I don't disagree, Rio. I think there's been a lot more money, and most, like these guys in the All In podcast, most of the people who are involved with AI will tell you that people are dumping money into AI, and they don't know what what the ROI is. So, you have Ethereum, yeah. I'm kicking myself because I didn't get into. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. My friend of mine did Ethereum mining for a while, I guess, and I think I don't know if he's in the exact same thing, but he's waiting for the price to move and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I find that a very interesting thing, and there's definitely some future application for that. Stable coin and that kind of stuff is moving along. So, but I don't see, because there's no historical precedent for it that I'm aware of, I don't see AI taking away people's jobs and everybody just walking around with no job. I just don't see that. As a matter of fact, what I do see is more likely is what we had when in the 80s, when a lot of rug pulls too. Oh, sure. Yeah. And that's risk and return, kind of dynamic. But, in the 80s when they broke up AT&T, because AT&T used to have everybody's phone. You had Bell or you had AT&T, and that was it. And they broke up AT&T, and everybody was like, oh, this is going to be the worst thing ever. A lot of business people said that because the monopoly that AT&T had and Bell South had, as a duopoly, seemed really bad, and it was. It killed innovation for a very long time. And part of what brought about companies like Motorola and the cell phone and everything else was that engineers from AT&T lost their jobs. Yeah. For South people, yep, lost their jobs, and those engineers went and started their own companies. And ever since then, communications has had huge advancements. Woo, that was close, but that worked. So, I think you'll see the same thing with AI, because you can, like I'm dabbling with programming with AI. I don't know how to code, but the reality is that coding is probably going to be obsolete, because you can write your own program, and people are doing it now. We have an AI platform that we use at work, and I do it to a small degree, but another person in my office does it quite a bit. He missed those 90s commercials, yeah. Does it quite a bit where, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to be smart about this. Will that work? That might work. And they program, you know, for handling data and stuff. They have the AI program database stuff to help them do their work. Now, normally, back in the day, and I mean probably not even 5 years ago, what you had to do was you had to contact a department in the company and have somebody write you a program because you didn't know how to do either that, or you went and learned database management software on your own. Now you don't have to do that. So I think that will have dividends down the road, but again, I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe that's wishful thinking on my part. But you know, I'm probably more optimistic than many people are when it comes to AI, but and you're right. I mean, there's going to be when you have this kind of transformation of an economy, there is disruptive behavior, and that means some people get burned. They can recover usually. But, you know, we can look at like the Rust Belt and everything that's happened there, and those areas have not recovered like people would have hoped. Those areas are still struggling. So, oh, absolutely, Zeb. And, you know, I don't think that's... I think it's overblown. That's my personal opinion, obviously. I mean, again, I'm no guru on this stuff. But I definitely think that's overblown. But again, is it completely unthinkable? No. It's like, no, it's not. So, you know. And we see parts of it now. I mean, you see countries putting out, you know, dogs with guns on top of them and all this other crazy stuff. I mean, some of the biggest military contractors, whoa, that's not good. Right now, Palantir and what's the other place? There's Palantir and it starts with an A. Well, I mean, you can see that. You see a lot of people going off the grid, so to speak. So, wouldn't... Hey, Yorkie. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. That's all right, man. Have a good one. Appreciate you stopping by. But, you know, there's definitely people who are... God, if I lose this truck, there's no getting that thing back, is there? You know what? Let's park this here. Let's go back and get... Atomics Discord? Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I can't, unfortunately, Buzzcola, and until I return it, I can't drive it. All right, so we know this thing can't cross this gap here. He did join the fleet. I know he had put the request in. I didn't know if I was leaving it up for you to. I was going to talk to you before I approved it or let you approve it. I told him you would approve it. But I would do it too if you couldn't. I just wanted to talk to you about it beforehand. I didn't want to get in trouble again. Go to Exo's Mast or anything. So. Oops. I probably ought to put it in four-wheel drive, right? Probably would help. Done it yesterday? Okay. Cool, man. Thanks. You think you have a new follower? Excellent, dude. Come on, baby. Get up there. Yeah, this bumper is a problem, isn't it? Alright, let's try this. Is there any trees I can latch onto? No. Crap. Get a little momentum. There we go. Not too much momentum. Just thinking of high center again. Nope. Ooh, okay. I do like this Kenworth. I know I've said it almost every stream, but I'm pretty impressed with this truck. It's quite good. Now, the question is... Boats and Woes, what's on? What's going on, man? Yeah, Palantir. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and Palantir, and like I said, there's another one. It's been in the news a lot lately because it's a young guy that's doing it. And he and the Palantir and the other guy are real. What? Am I leaking? No, my fuel tank's not damaged. Okay. Oh, it's the gas tank is leaning too much left. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Yeah, and actually, I need to do what because I haven't put cargo in here. That's a good point, Buzz. Let me take care of that. Thanks, Yorkie. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's do that, and we'll do it crane mode. Here, let's turn this thing so it's a little more stable. There we go. We'll actually pack it in the bed because I'm not trying to put anything in the bed right now. All right, take it easy, my friend. See ya. What the hell? Let's see if that'll pack it. Will it pack? It won't pack. What is it? Oh, well, oh, I see what the problem is. Okay. Fair enough. Fine. Oops. There we go. There, I got it packed down in the bed, so that'll help. Alright, what I'm trying to do is get this truck oriented more this way. That's not really what I want to do. But yeah, Palantir's got some crazy technology. And Palantir is also trying to... I was listening to an interview with the CEO of Palantir. He was on the Sean Ryan show. I don't know if you all have heard that podcast before, but he was on there talking about what he's trying to do as far as government contract procurement and stuff. That guy has got an interesting history. But yeah, he was talking to Sean Ryan was talking to the chief technology officer of Palantir, and they have a very different approach to defense contracting than your typical defense contractor does. It's been real interesting to watch and listen to sort of what their philosophy is. In general, if they're being sincere, which, you know, Let's be honest. A lot of people aren't. If they're being sincere, then I like it. Having been being a veteran and having been in the military. But, the question is, are they really being sincere, or is it just window dressing? And I don't know the answer to that question. So, but it was an interesting interview for sure. Oh, you did? Except for Louisiana? Oh, nice, dude. Do you have the Louisiana, or are you waiting for it to get in the Bureau project? Because that's such a good ship. Why can't I get where I can get... I want to get this front end turned around. But again, yeah, Palantir's whole thing is lots and lots and lots of AI. And of course the Chinese, who's probably our... No, stop. Go the other way. Is probably our biggest geopolitical threat by many people's estimation. Is obviously very big into AI as well. So, you gotta, it's like, do you ignore it or do you not? It's an interesting world we live in, for sure. All right, I think I'm going to park this here. Waiting for the Bureau project? Yeah. I think most people are. I got it, obviously, when it first came out, and it's a great ship. I don't play it as much as I probably should, but it's a very good ship. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember it was right expensive to get. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I spent the money in... Boats, that seems to be the consensus. Let me put it that way. I'm very skeptical when the Chinese say that they're ahead, or somebody says the Chinese are ahead of us. Because it's kind of a dual-edged discussion. There are people who will benefit by scaring the crap out of everybody that the Chinese are way ahead of us in the military. And of course the Chinese benefit by telling everybody that. However, at least in my experience, and you can go look it up at some point, they say that, and then it turns out, that their giant aircraft carrier is actually just a cargo ship with a plywood deck. I'm exaggerating, but they had a main battle tank coming out, and it was supposed to be the greatest thing ever, and it turns out it's a piece of junk. It barely runs. Now, to be fair, look at the F-35. Yep. Yeah. And the USSR is and this is what communist systems do. Everybody lies to everybody in a communist system, because if you don't do something because it's impossible, then you die. So you lie to get ahead. So yeah. There's a lot of mixed signals coming out of China. Do I think they have way more people? Yeah, but way more people doesn't matter much anymore. I mean, we showed that in Iraq during the first Iraq War, Desert Shield or whatever. And they had a huge army, second largest army in the world. It didn't mean it didn't mean crap. And I think, talking about AI weapons, that's becoming more and more the case. So I don't know, but I large doses of skepticism with anything that China or anybody in the U.S. defense industry says that China's better at. Now, do I think we have to keep our eyes on them and make sure that they don't get ahead of us? Absolutely. But because I don't think they are exactly no. Well, I mean, The big problem with the F-35 is the infrastructure. They can't keep them running. It doesn't do you any good. I mean, what's it right now? Like 35% of them are combat ready on any given day. I mean, that's no good. You can't have that. But you know. You got to do better. A way to do Viking raid? Yeah. You know, like I said, you can have bodies. How loyal those bodies are, how effective those bodies are going to be, I don't know. This is a real pain in the ass, I will have to say. I'm just going to drag this thing way up here. And again, a lot of their military, top-of-the-line military equipment isn't really top of the line. It's performative. It's cosplay. But you know, you still got to take them seriously. You can't just discount it. I think their bigger strength is the economic stuff that they do, and that's a bigger problem for us. Because there's a lot of, you know, I was listening to the All In podcast yesterday, and one of the people there was making what I thought was a very good point, is the U.S. has been trying to restrict China's supply availability of China to get a hold of these advanced NVIDIA chips, and NVIDIA keeps tweaking the chip so that they can sell them to China. And what that has done is it's given China the stuff that they can then copy, and now they're making their own chip company, and now NVIDIA won't sell anything there. So I have my bachelor's in finance and I have my master's in business administration, right? And it doesn't make sense to me that the business community is so hot to get into the Chinese market when, whoa, easy pudding. When everybody knows that the first thing the Chinese do is they copy your stuff, they backwards engineer it, and then they create a company, and they push you out of the Chinese market. So you're never really in the Chinese market all that well. And it's like, so why do you keep giving them their products? In order to do business in China, you have to give them basically the plans for your stuff. And it's like, well, nobody does that in the United States. Nobody would sign that deal, but they all sign it with the Chinese when they know the Chinese are going to steal it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make good business sense to me. But everybody looks at the bodies, which don't have a huge income. They're getting better, obviously, over time. But it just, like I said, there's stuff that goes on there that just doesn't make any sense to me when it comes to businesses selling the Chinese or opening businesses in China, because they are not good business partners. You can't sue them, and I think that's where part of the problem is American companies assume that they can go to a court and sue somebody in Chinese court for copyright infringement or patent infringement. Chinese government, Chinese court system doesn't care. It's to the benefit of the Chinese people that they steal your stuff. So, yeah, exactly, Rio. Exactly. Well, we don't need... Okay, I agree with you on principle with that, Rio, that you don't need to have 100% readiness, but when less than half the fleet of billion-dollar aircraft is not available, I think that's a problem. That's not how it should be. You know, take that for what it is, but... All right, let's see. Let's refuel here. Yeah, I'm just going to use the bandit to drag this thing the rest of the way. All right, where's this thing going? It's going over here somewhere. Huh. All right. where's the Marshall? I take, you know what? Let me take the Marshall here. Seeing as it's one of the few in-game scouts that drives in the snow reasonably well. I guess I'll just drive that up here. It's easier this way. Yeah, see, that's the thing. And it's funny you mentioned donuts, because again, the other day I had a Krispy Kreme donut. That is a donut that's made by essentially a automatic system. One big super Earth. Yeah. No, we need to go to Mars. Apparently, that's what it is, Buscola. We need to go to Mars. Start there. But you know, but Krispy Kreme's been making their donuts with that donut making machine in the store for a very long time, and there's still a lot of people that work there. So the automation, obviously the automation has reduced some jobs in that particular business, but there's still plenty of jobs there. Mars or bust, yeah. Well, I mean, there are some people who have that opinion. They're also the only ones with the capability to send something to Mars at the moment. So, and I think Elon's, you know, no matter what you think of Elon, I think his philosophy on that is interesting. I don't. I'll be honest. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think we need to go to Mars. I think we can figure out. You know, you look at from an environmental standpoint. You look at developed nations like the United States and Europe and whatnot. They've been able to clean up a lot of their environmental stuff. Not all of it, obviously, but I mean, you look at the Hudson River. RFK obviously was a big part of cleaning up the Hudson River. So you can do that. The Hudson River is now not on fire on a regular basis. For those of you who may not be familiar with that, it wasn't that long ago, probably, 15, 20 years ago, that the Hudson River was so polluted that it would catch on fire. A river would catch on fire. So, build a house underneath the water. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, why not? I think that's an option. But you know, they managed to clean it up. I have, and I think I've mentioned this before, I used to be in a job where I had to comply with EPA regulations, and I even got audited by EPA. You know, and I don't have a problem with the EPA as long as it's not overreaching. So, yeah, and in Elon's case, you can certainly make the argument that he's done that. I mean, that was a big reason for him coming up with Tesla and the electric car, because he thought it needed to be chemical waste disposal. Huh? Well, there you go. Oh, I'm at work. Shit. But you know, you can make that argument. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, putting a colony on Mars is going to be very, very difficult. Now, I think that would be a very interesting place for, you know, if you wanted to do robotics, that's one way of doing robotics, is you send a spaceship full of robots there. You know, it's funny, I'm a big fan of sci-fi. I've been reading sci-fi books since I was quite, you know, fairly small, fairly young. And you always sent a spaceship full of humans out to where, you know, light years away to colonize a planet. And of course they would get eaten by some alien or whatever. And it's like, why not? If you can fly a spaceship through space, why don't you have robots to do the colonizing and get everything set up and squared away for the humans? You know, it's like, I understand robots can't colonize because they can't have babies, but they can probably do a lot of that work. And I think that's what Elon's working towards. I mean, that's why he's got the big push on the robotics. But all right, so we've figured out that, so we got bricks and we've got metal beams here, so that's good to know. And there's the road for that. Dude, as popular as that thing is, I probably should. That's crazy. You know, and that's we could get into the whole gaming industry thing with that. I think that's just awesome. One dude programs that thing, and that game is just taken. I mean, you got some of the biggest streamers on the internet, on YouTube, streaming that thing. That's pretty impressive, dude. Well done. All right, so where is this next? Whoops. I keep losing track of where this truck's going. Oh, I gotta track the mission, don't I? Several clicks over. There we go. Start tracking. Thank you. Okay, so it's going that way. All right, let's hop in the Bandit here. What's going on? What are you doing? There we go. Let's hop on the Bandit here and get this royal thing towed out of here. And we'll use that as the impetus for some more exploration. All right. We ran the Kenworth for several days, so we'll give it a rest and we'll take the Bandit and do that. Well, the problem with the moon, as I understand it, the problem with the moon is that it doesn't have an atmosphere that protects it from asteroid impacts. So you could build a colony and then an asteroid would hit it. There's also no resources that you can use to create a bioenvironment for humans to live in, whereas apparently, Mars, now that they've discovered that there's ice on it and stuff, so you can use that ice to create water and oxygen and those types of things. That's my understanding of it. Again, no expert on that, but in listening to interviews with Elon and other people who disagree with Elon, that seems to be the difference between the two. Because yeah, it would make sense. Now, I think it's I could see somebody making some sort of moon base. Fair enough. You're absolutely right, Puffy. It doesn't make for a good movie if you do it that way. So, doesn't make a good movie, or Speaking of that, oh my God, this all just dropped right out of my brain. Who is the author that did the whole Mars series? And they made a movie of it several years ago that I thought, with John Carter. Fuck, why can't I think of his name? I love that series, the whole Mars series. I was fascinated by it. I read it several times. My copies were very, very, very well worn by the time I was done. And the movie came out, and it kind of got, Edward West Bros. Thank you, Seb. I don't need AI. I got you guys. But that movie came out, and I thought it was actually, I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it was good, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was, when I remember, it had been a long time since I'd read the books, but it was pretty close to what I would have expected. Had you said this movie's coming out, based on these books, I'd have been like, yep, that's pretty good. That's pretty much on the mark. We are the hive mind. Exactly. I thought he did a pretty good job with it. I really enjoyed those books. I do not read for recreation much anymore, which is kind of sad. But then I do a lot of this, so it's like I'm trying to do it before I go to bed at night, because apparently that's a good way to get better sleep, is to read. I'm not used to reading anymore. I used to read a lot, and I don't do it anymore. So something to work on. But as you guys know, I struggle with sleep. Ghost of Mars, yeah. I mean, that whole series, and I don't, I barely remember the author, obviously, but... Yep. Yeah, that's... I have a new... I have a new organizational app that I'm still getting all the stuff set up in. But so far, it has worked pretty well for me. Called Tick Tick. I think I've mentioned this before. And it's highly recommended for people with ADHD. I think I mentioned it on... I know I mentioned it on stream. I just don't remember what stream it was. You listen to a lot of books? Yeah. Yeah, and that... I need to start doing... I listen to podcasts when I drive, and that's one of the things I've thought about doing is... doing audiobooks instead. Alright, where am I going from here? I should try War Thunder. I did. I've played War Thunder before. I don't know. I just... unfortunately... I shouldn't say unfortunately. My goal... Well, it would have been much easier for me to go up here, come through here, and go on the regular road, wouldn't it? Anyway. Need to take a right. Aces of Thunder. I've watched... Have you watched some of the demo? There's been a bunch of people who have come out with demos for... Or some gameplay, so... Yeah. I can get off the phone just fine. I've been trying to read, and it's been a struggle because I just don't do it anymore. And I'm trying to reverse or revise my habit there. But yeah, it's taken some work. But audiobooks is a nice alternative for sure. And it's probably be a better way to spend my time in the car than podcasts sometimes. Though I don't know. I like podcasts a lot too, so. There we go. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Aces of Thunder gameplay recently. Yeah, oh, it looks great. It really does. Oh, there's the ice track. Okay. I remember that from the playtest server. Alright, so... Alright, oh, I'm heading in the right direction then. That's good. Quick, hook up, hook up. There we go. Almost didn't make... Oh, easy, dude. Yeah, well, and they are. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They definitely are. Yeah, I've taken off a lot of the apps off my phone. Now I have a tablet that's got a lot of apps on it that are more distracting. But like I've gotten out of the habit, fortunately, of playing games and stuff like that on my phone, because it is a huge time suck. Yeah. And there's just so much good stuff out there. But I'm trying to use it more as a tool to help me deal with the ADHD and... Oh, fudge. Alright. So... Crap. I forgot this bridge was out. Huh. Well... Tell you what, let's go grab the marshal here. Bungo, what's going on, man? How you doing? Little kid in the store window. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that too because I can't afford anything in the store at this point. So it's like, drifting a mar. Snow just stopped it cold. No pun intended. Look at the wheels go. Bzzz. Come on, hit the asphalt. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see. Where are we going here? So there's that. That's probably where I need to go. Okay. I did, Puffy. As a matter of fact, I think the Kenworth's here. Yeah. So there's the Kenworth, and I was using that for the first couple of days. Yeah, no doubt. I just ate the steering wheel. Yeah. And I'm quite happy. This is the C500, obviously. Now I've got it fully maxed out for the most part, and it's been quite good in this environment. Very stable. I like its stability, but I did eventually flip it, and then I think I've got the Mac on here. I've got the Pinnacle. The other one's useless because it doesn't have four-wheel drive in this environment, but yeah. Okay. And I don't have either one of the trucks that I don't have the Mercer or the Elephant unlocked on here. I got to find them. I thought I had unlocked them, but I did not. And I may be confusing. So here's the Mac. The problem with the Mac in this environment is it's too freaking hilly. I've high centered it. I mean, I didn't get very far from the garage. So while it's a good truck, I don't think it's well suited for this environment at all. There's not enough traction. It doesn't have enough ground clearance, and the frame is way too long. But in the right environment, I think this would be quite a good truck. It's got a lot of good attributes, but I just don't think it's very well suited for this particular environment. So anyway, so there's that. This map is rough on trucks. Like many of the scouts are just useless on here. Right, yeah, and I've got the jet tires, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand, and as you all know, or probably are aware, the Mac Pack originally came. It wasn't all wheel. There was no four wheel drive on either one of them, and that just doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't. You can't operate. But like I said, this environment, I've tried several scouts because there's some smaller scouts that I like to put in the back of trucks. They just can't. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, I've got 47 or 50-inch tires on this monster, and it struggles to get through some of the snow. You get anything like I've got the Jeep Wrangler. I've got the crawler suspension on it, so that's the biggest lift kit, the biggest tires. It barely moves when it hits the snow. So this is a rough environment for a lot of stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, the only problem it has is that long frame. There's lots of undulating terrain here, and that long frame just it high centers a bunch. So I didn't want to mess with it. I'm having enough trouble keeping trucks on the road and moving, so. As anybody who watched yesterday will note, I spent most of yesterday trying to get trucks out of the garage and to the site of the wreck, and that was foiled. So I'm guessing it goes around this way. I'm guessing. But yeah, Pinnacle's a good truck now. Like I said, that C500 has performed very well in this environment. So, is C500 my favorite? I don't know about that. This is the first time I've had the Kenworth pack for a while. I just never drove the trucks, but I don't know if it's a favorite at this point. I mean, there are a lot of better trucks. But again, they're the bigger trucks. Like, I mean, the Kenworth 963 is still probably my favorite. In the playtest server, I did play with the Elephant, and it's a good truck, but it's got no bed on it. You can put a crane on it, but you can't put a bed on it. You got to have a trailer on it. And the way I like to play is often just the truck and the bed and move stuff around, and then occasionally grab another truck or a trailer, just a regular tow hook trailer, and but if you're hauling a really, really big load, that Elephant obviously is very good. Probably better than the Kenworth 963, but Kenworth's still probably my favorite. Let's see if the locking the diffs helps. It helps a little bit. All right. Oh, is it? Yeah, I think I have that. I've got the... Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I've got that, yeah. And I was looking at some of the White Stars, too. I mean, I haven't... I need to do, like, some testing with a bunch of these different trucks, especially the DLC, branded DLC trucks, because I haven't... American trucks, because I haven't played with those much. And I would like to do a comparison. It would be a good idea. Especially these, like, normal... What I'm going to call normal trucks. The Kenworth and the Elephant are not normal trucks. They're not something you're going to see on the road. A lot of these trucks that, like the Kenworth and the White Stars, I don't see those very often at work, but I mean, I see tractor and trailers every day at work. And it's kind of cool sort of seeing them in game as well. But those are I consider normal trucks. Even things like the Paystar is not a normal truck. That's a specialized truck. You see Western Stars? Yeah. I don't see those. I've seen a couple, but I don't see them very often at work. Most of it's obviously Kenworths and Peterbilts. But again, you can see the snow. The snow on this map is very fluffy, but it's not very forgiving. You got to have ground clearance. Oh, Leatherman by a long shot. Having owned many of both of them, Leatherman is far more useful. I don't need to open a bottle of wine. I do need to tighten down a bolt. I do need wire cutters. I don't need to clip my nails. I don't need to pick my teeth. I don't need to open a bottle of wine. I need screwdrivers. I need pliers. I need wire cutters. Oh, sweet good. Well, here, I can do it. Should be able to do this, right? We'll gear down. Take it nice and slow. Try not to dump this thing on its nose like I did yesterday. There we go. That's sketchy. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that's where it belongs, on city streets, as far as I'm concerned. But I understand it's probably. Oops. Oh, I can't get there from here. I thought I could get there from here. Oh shit. Crap. Now I got to turn around and go back. All right, fine. Oops. But yeah, when the Leatherman came out, I got my first one fairly soon after I discovered it. It was just like, okay, here we go. I've lost several of them, or they've been stolen. I'm not sure, but yeah, and I even got the Gerber multi-tool when that first came out because I thought that had some interesting innovations, but it's just, oops, it's a little bulky. But I appreciate Gerber's attempt. Come on. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. That'll work. Oh, really? Yeah, internationals I see. The nursery had one? Yeah, had one. I drove, I don't remember what they were, but when I worked for a moving company, we had most of our trucks were either GMCs. Most of our box trucks were either GMCs or internationals. And then we had 2 international city trucks, day cabs. And so I drove those in the parking lot. That messed me up. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yeah, I had a friend of mine that worked for a bus making company here in the state where I'm. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I am burning up a lot of fuel here. This is not good. This thing eats up the fuel. I think I've got 1 refill left, and then I'm done. But I've got a truck down there full of fuel, so I'll go down and I guess I'll go down and fuel it up there, seeing as I went the wrong damn way. Let's see. So we go here, we go here. Refuel, go back up. Oops. Ah! Hate when it does that. Alright, fine, whatever. Yeah, I don't see many Volvos at the plant. I think there's like one. Most of the guys that pull our trailers are independents, sort of like Atomic Potato is. But I think only one guy has got. He's got like the sea blue or sea blue green colored Volvo. All right, man. Take it easy. Enjoy dinner. So yeah, I don't see Volvos very much. Scania and Manns don't even sell trucks here in the United States yet, so obviously don't see those. I saw them when I went to Europe, but King Frog, what's going on, man? How are you doing? You were streaming for a long time yesterday, it seemed like. I stopped by a couple times. I think I only chatted once, otherwise I was lurking. Oh. I'm up in your country now, man. This is Quebec, supposedly. Yeah, obviously, yeah. I can't imagine trying to drive stretch frame Peterbilt around in Europe. What a mess that would be. And that's the nice thing with those cab overs is that, yep, you did. Yeah. Those cab overs are very, very easy to maneuver. The snow's melted? Well, I wish it would, because I'm tired of driving in it already. Frozen lakes and snow-covered roads. Excuse me. Do I have enough gas to get to the truck? Jeez. Actually, you know what? I hit the wrong... Why do I keep hitting the wrong button? Refuel. There we go. There we go. So it's not snowy there all the time, Frog? What? You're in the great up north. Yeah. Yeah, it did. Yeah, they used to be really popular, but they aren't any longer. Okay, there we go. Refuel. Fill up the roof rack. All right. Now. No, occasionally I'll see a cab over. But it's usually a much older truck, so it's you know, the independent guys still drive them if they can get their hands on one. But it's usually a much older truck. But they're, from a standpoint of tractor and trailers, they tend to be cheap. One of the drivers that worked for me when I worked at sweet Jesus, my brain. When I worked for the moving company, he had a cab over initially. Yeah, oh, I know. I know. The thing is, you know, you get, like, again, I'm originally from Michigan. Yeah, longest stream ever yesterday? I thought so. Every time I checked on there, it was like, you're still on. So I'd hop on for a minute, throw you a like. I didn't chat much because I was in the middle of a bunch of other stuff, but I was just like, dude's been streaming all day long. That's awesome, dude. I think 10 hours is the longest I've done. I might have done 12. I think I did 12 once. But long streams are rough. Really are. It's a long time to sit in a chair. That's why there's a couple streamers, like I watch Aztec Cross, and he streams standing up. And I think if I got to the point where I was doing this full time, I'd have to do that. Oh, sure. Yeah, there's those. The medium duty trucks, yeah. 7 hours. Nice. Yeah, that's a nice long stream. That's plenty long. And again, it makes sense, you know, having a cab over for, you know, especially if you're in urban areas and whatnot. It makes a lot of sense. Trying to drive one of those big Peterbilts in urban areas is just not ideal. Easy now. Where are you going, truck? We're going to get sideways here in a minute if we're not careful. Yep. What is this thing doing? Prostate problems? No. No, just sitting in a spot for that long, for like 10 hours, is not easy for me. Alright, we'll try that again. I do not like doing that. I sit way too much anymore. Because I have a stand-up desk at work, so I don't have to sit down. Now I have a bum knee, so sometimes I have to sit down. What is this thing's problem? Alright. We apparently need to use the winch here to get up this hill. There we go. After 4 hours, it's hard to keep the intensity. Yeah. I don't know. Your stuff's pretty intense, dude. Your energy is crazy. I think part of that has to do with the games that you play. Obviously, they're adrenaline rush for quite a bit. So, for those of you guys don't know, and as a matter of fact, here, let's do this. Canadian Frog streams Dark Souls-like games. Which is a genre I don't play much, but I do enjoy watching him. He's very energetic, it's just a lot of fun to talk to, or listen to, and talk to, chat with. So, you know, if you're into those kind of games, or you want to watch that, I certainly recommend his channel. Let's see, where is it? Here, I'll put his, yeah, not a problem at all, man. Like I said, I love watching your content, so. Copy. And you're like one of my first subscribers, aren't you? Crash, what's going on, man? How are you doing? I mean, seriously, Frog, I think you're like one of my... I'd have to go back and look, but I think you're one of my first subscribers. Like, at least the first 50 or 100. Easily. Now I only have I'm almost 300 now, but I think it's probably first 50 very early on. I think I was streaming Starfield when you subscribed. Crash, man, how's it going? How's the games going, man? Have you played it yet today? I know you were playing something else earlier. Do I have an Easter egg? Do I have an Easter egg? I don't have an Easter egg. Yeah. A little 4-cylinder, either diesel or gas. They don't have a whole lot of... doing all right? Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. You're doing mac and cheese and grilled meats for the day for Easter. That's awesome, dude. Just Wartails? Yeah. Yeah, I did a little grinding of that yesterday, but I didn't play boats much yesterday because I mean I'm streaming 2 different games on the weekends now. So, I mean a donut. Oh, an Easter egg donut. I didn't. That would have been a good idea. Damn it, Frog. That would have been a damn good idea. But no, I didn't even go out this morning. Usually I go out and get coffee in the morning, but I did not today. I was not in the mood, to be honest. Just Wartails again? Yeah. Yeah, the Wartails is damn handy. I've managed to buy a couple ships and upgrade a couple ships in the upper tiers with that, so I really do enjoy that. I sort of missed out on I didn't realize the Steel Hunter ran out last night. And I was like, crap, I missed out on that, unfortunately. I mean, it was only 150 steel, so it wasn't a ton of steel, but it probably would have been good to get done. Yeah, it's been a very long time. I'm telling you, I think I was streaming Starfield when you came on. I think you're like one of my first. It might even be the first 20 subscribers. It was a long time ago. So I do appreciate that. But, yeah. Well, enjoy the dinner, man, because it sounds like it's going to be a hell of a dinner. No, not really. I mean, World of Warships Legends is very tactical. It's much more a chess game than it is a shooter game. Oh, you ranked out tier 6? Nice. Yeah, I'm at rank 2. I haven't finished ranked. Maybe I'll do that at some point today. We'll see. I've got a lot of work to do on the channel to get ready for tomorrow, so. Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. There's another 150 steel on the... Yeah, I should have been paying closer attention to that, because that they were renewing that every day, right, Bug? It's just so... between home life, work life, and you know, working on the channel and streaming, it's like trying to keep all this shit straight. That's why this new app has, again, helped me a lot. So hopefully I can get better about catching stuff like that. Hobo Blue Eye, what's up? Man, everybody's showing up this morning. I appreciate everybody hopping on here today. That's awesome. I was not paying attention to where I was going. I'm supposed to be going to this place here. I missed my turn. Whoops. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I think that's the situation for a lot of people. Yep, 150 a day. Yeah, so that's, I mean, that's definitely worth looking at, grinding, if you got the time. Yeah, 150 a day. That adds up quick. Yeah, I was playing Janan last night with Hanzolo, and just put the epic torpedo reload on my Janan. I gotta buy the gun reload too, because I think the gun build, you know, I think the gun build is better. But Hanzolo, I wish I had been watching when he was doing this, but he had a 304,000 point game in the Janan yesterday. Still lost, but it's just crazy. But yeah, that's just crazy. That ship, if the situation is right, that ship is capable of doing some serious damage. But I've got the torpedoes out to like 16-1 or something like that. The Minnesota? Yeah. Yeah, it's a fat ship. She's wide in the beam, as they say. Well, and you know, Puffy, that's the thing, is that there's so many good games out. That I just... But I you know, I will have to say, I was watching Aaron's video yesterday, I think on like the top 5 ships or top 5 worst ships or something like that. And, oh, you did? Yep. Yeah, it does help. I mean, that does happen for sure, Puffy. But I mean, I was looking at the win rates on some of his ships. And now, I mean, a lot of them had like less than 50 games in it. But I mean, he's in the top high 80s, low 90s, and I'm just like, okay. The only way that happens is you're a good enough player that you're able to carry a team on a regular basis. And I am not at this point. I'd like to get there, but I am not there. So okay. Wow. So this is the route I got to take. I got to haul this royal bowel movement all the way here. Wow, that's going to be fun. So there to there to there. What time is it? 11? Okay. I think I can get across that bridge. That's going to be tough. I don't know that I'll be able to do that. Jesus. May actually have to fix the bridge. Well, I could go this way. Wait a minute. Shortcut. Where's Dart? I need his approval on a shortcut. Oh, good. I forgot there's a scout trailer there. I remember that from the playtest server. Another shortcut. That's 2 shortcuts in 1 route. Awesome. Makes me happy. Now, I would... All right, dinner time. All right, take it easy, Zeb. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you chatting it up. All right, let's try that with the... Let's try that with a bandit. You're going to go hide Easter eggs for yourself? What do you just scoot them into the sand or put them next to rocks? Well, I wouldn't put it next to a rock. Lifting up a rock where you live is probably a risky pastime. Do I find an Easter egg or a scorpion? Oh, I know. Well, and I will tell you, Puffy, I guess it depends on the server you're on. The problem I have right now, I've been having for the last, I don't know, since the update at least, if not sooner, or not longer, is the people who suicide into a cap. I mean, the number of battleships that I have watched just, they're like they're playing a DD. They just drive into the cap, they get obliterated by everybody, including the DD in the cap that's firing torpedoes at it. And it's like, what were you doing? I just don't understand. I don't understand the mindset. It's like, and in 5 minutes, it's dead. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. And I think that's exactly what's going on. They don't... Well, this may not be a shortcut. It looked like a shortcut. All right, here we go. Woo, yeah. Look at this. There's the view from the cab. Oh, might be all right. Turn the beacons on, man. There we go. Yeah, and that's what I was saying before is when Rio asked, isn't it just point click? And it's not. I mean, the shooting part is the easy part. The tactics and the strategy are what make that game so hard. Emoji's ready. I should have given you a warning ahead of time. Get your emojis ready, Bug, because I'm in a relatively tippy truck, towing another truck. Okay, hold on. Let's back it up. Back it up. Our rear tires aren't spinning. Oh, what's going on with that? But put it in a crawl gear here. Look at that. Look at that. Well, I'm not down yet, but let's get down before I start celebrating. Nice. Now we need to get across the ice with 2 tractor and trailers. Trying to do a bunch of suspension damage, which we've already done some. It's not too bad, but there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, Puffy. I mean, the dumb stuff that I have seen, I was playing, like I said, I was playing with Hanzilla last night, and we were on one flank. I think we were both in cruisers, or maybe, no, he was in a DD, and I was in defense, which the defensive's obviously a very good ship, right? And we get pushed by... and I probably complained about this yesterday or last night. We got pushed by, I think, 2 battleships, a cruiser, and it might have been 3 battleships, but it's definitely 2 battleships, a cruiser, and a DD. The rest of our team went over to the other cap, and they never even got into the cap, and they all died. And it's like, what are you guys doing over there? We had basically half the enemy fleet on our side, the 2 of us holding them off, and you couldn't handle the other side. It's like, what are you doing? Just don't understand it. Okay. Why not abuse battleships? Well, I don't like battleships because they're too freaking slow. You know, you got to wait 30 seconds, 25, 30 seconds between reloads and stuff like that. But the, it's kind of hard to explain, Rio. But the battleships, it depends on the battleship and a bunch. There's a lot of factors in there. Like I said, it's a very strategic game. The shooting part is really not the big factor. It's positioning and knowing when to push and when to retreat, and generally people don't talk to each other, so you got a team of 9 people in different ships who aren't communicating much at all, if at all. So it's interesting because of that, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I will pull back, but I will try to hold that flank as long as I can. It's just that, as you well know, often the remainder of your team cannot apparently kill the ships they have to deal with on their flank. So, but like I said, that's what leads to the frustration of the game, Rio, is that there's a lot of. So here's the thing, there's a lot of casual players to that game, and they just log on for an hour or so, and, you know, they drive their ship just kind of haphazardly and shoot at stuff, and then they're done. And that's fine. I mean, you know, if that's how you want to play the game, you know, I completely understand it. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out very well in most cases. You usually die very quickly because the games have a time limit of 15 minutes, and it's not unusual these days for players to be gone within the first 5. They're dead. And so it makes it very frustrating for people who are, I want to say, more serious about the game. I guess that's probably the best way to put it. What am I doing here? There we go. Get around. There we go. Okay. Turn. There you go. There you go. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Puffy. You're doing whatever you can, so. T-Bone, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Oh, look, I got the frickin' hitch wheel stuck. All right, come on, back up. Perfect. Right there. Thank you. Pack that in, restore the crane. Now we got a fresh new tank of gas. You doing good? Awesome, dude. I appreciate you. Oh, what? Jeez. It's a good thing I got a spare tire, man. I am messing this stuff up. All right, hold on a second. We need to do some. God, I wish I would stop hitting the wrong button. Let's do some repairs. Huh, okay. I guess it repaired it all. Bring my raid your way. Yeah, I need to start doing that, T-Bone. I need to. Yep. Talk to you later, man. I gotta get on that Twitch stuff. I worked on it some yesterday, so we're making progress. my Twitch skills are noobish for sure. But I mean, I've got what 72, 73 followers, so I need to step up the game. People have expectations I need to meet. The old Bandit's doing work. I'll give it that. Now the question is, can I get up this ski slope here? Otherwise I gotta take the long way around. I don't want to do that. Bandit has saved the day, however. Oh, is this like a sledding hill or something? I guess that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Well, I know if I need tires, I know where to find them, right? Dad's a kid too. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Appreciate you hopping on. Come on, baby, get up the hill. Get up the hill. And if you guys are wondering why I'm running the Bandit, I watched, and I don't remember whose video it was, so I apologize for that. But I watched somebody's video talking about how this was like the most hated truck in the game, and I was like, I don't understand why. It works. This is a rough environment. Trust me, I've run several trucks in here, both playtest server before it dropped and since, and it's doing fine. It's having the same problems everybody else is having, where the ice Doritos are destroying tires and transmission, but other than that. Now, I do have the fully upgraded engine in this. I'm using the fine-tune, as you can see, the fine-tune transmission, which is my favorite transmission. Just because it lets, mostly because it lets me control the wheel spin better in mud and snow and stuff like that, but I know most people don't use the fine-tune. Most of the really good streamers that do this, I tell them I'm using fine-tune, they're like, what? Why? But I like it. I like the control it gives me. Just my quirk. But again, I don't find the Bandit to be that bad of a truck. I mean, it's not a great truck by any stretch, but I don't think it's one. It shouldn't be the most hated truck. I'm trying to think of what the most hated truck would be. I tell you what it should be. I know I'm gonna catch some flack for this, but the stupid twin steer. I hate that. I hate that thing. You love the Bandit? Ah, good, Rio. I appreciate it. I'm not alone. The twin steer I absolutely hate. Now I know a lot of people like the twin steer, especially when you get the four-wheel drive on it. I got the four-wheel drive on it when that became available, and I still hate it. It tips over too easy. It's unmaneuverable. It's awful. Awful. So, I'm trying to think of what truck I hate more than Twin Star, and I don't think there is one. Matter of fact, I know there's no way there's a truck I dislike more than the Twin Star. Okay. Oh, there's the quarry. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Oops. Thought I had the engine on. There we go. These tires and icy roads are not a good mix. Western Star? Which Western Star is super bad? The white star that you get early on? Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean anything two-wheel drive except for maybe the P16 P16 is pretty good for being all-wheel drive. But yeah, the Twin Steer White Star, yeah, the White Star is okay. The Twin Steer, yeah, it's awful. It's an awful truck. Again, it's a very specialized truck. You know, I understand. You know, I looked into the history of it. I understand why they made what they made. It actually works very well for that, but that's all it's good for as far as I'm concerned. Oh, there we go. Now we'll get this mission completed. Still have some time left over. Excellent. Bandit came through. Whoops, you parked in the wrong spot, my friend. Whoop. Did I not start? I thought I was tracking that mission. What happened? Oh, I got to deliver it over there. Okay. Delivered to the wrong spot. Yeah, you know, I never played SnowRunner, and I know it's still available. I've thought about getting it out occasionally, but I never played SnowRunner. I mean, the only reason I started playing SnowRunner back in the day was because a friend of mine played it, and he really enjoyed it, and we were playing co-op. There we go, 3,600. Yeehaw. So what is this, metal rolls? Okay. Yeah. Oh, you don't run... Yeah, that's what everybody's been telling me. Yeah. Like I said, I don't. The lack of maneuverability at high centers. Tippy if you put it on the upgraded suspension so you can get some better tires so you can get through mud. But I know there's a huge contingent of SnowRunner players who like the Twin Steer, so I'm not going to dog on it too bad, but that's my least favorite truck by a long shot. There's some of the other ones like the Dairies and stuff that I don't particularly like. They don't seem to perform very well, but in certain situations they're fine. They've got a lot of power, so. The Warthog? Really? Oops. You know, I don't know that I've played with the Warthog much. I don't think I have that unlocked, unfortunately, on this particular game. All right, Rio, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate the lurking. I mean, the Twin Steer would be useless in this environment. It works okay, like in Michigan, where it's fairly flat, which is where you find it. I guess it works okay there. Warthog's a scout, right? I haven't used that in forever. I don't think I've got that unlocked, though. I don't know how I didn't unlock... set this up. Ugh. Oh. I've got the crocodile. I actually like that. It's kind of fun. Oh, there's the Warthog. Yeah, I've got it. I've got to go to the region in order to unlock it. So that's not great. Yeah. A lot of these Vorons I didn't have much luck with, so. But I haven't played them a bunch either, so I got to be fair. But at any rate. All right, let's see what we got. So I got a little over half an hour here. Need to start finding what I need in order to get So there's the bandit there. Where's the next watchtower? There's 2 of them there. Because fixing the bridges is a lot more complicated on this one. I don't disagree, Puffy. It's more useful to me. At least you can use it on roads. But, yeah. Getting hungry. I ate breakfast early this morning. Take a lunch break. I got most of my yard work done yesterday. Got a little work done on the car, so I'm working on the channel today. I'm getting ready for... I'm hoping Oblivion drops tomorrow. Really am. That's what I'm getting ready for now. If Oblivion drops tomorrow, that's what I'm streaming all day tomorrow. I may occasionally take breaks and do stuff. I've got some things I got to do, but that's the plan. If Oblivion doesn't drop tomorrow, I don't know what I'm doing. Guess I can do boats or something. Or finish up Atomfall if I haven't finished it. What is this? There's a bunch of little missions up here, aren't there? Oh, that's where it finishes out. Duh. Okay. Get out of the deep snow. Snow is slow. I don't like slow. I just don't like slow. This is why I don't play battleships very often in World of Warships. Legends. Because they're too slow. Everything's too slow. I want speed. Alright. So, let's see. I guess what I want to do is I want to come down here. Whew, that's Securitas. And then... I don't know what that noise was. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to fill up with fuel. I might actually check out this and see what it is. And then go up here to here to here to here to here. And then probably to here. Well, actually... let's go here, and we'll stop here, and then we'll meet the bandit there. But I think that'll probably take the rest of the stream right there. Hopefully I've got enough fuel to get there. See if we can get away from diff lock and still make decent progress. Yeah, it looks like we are. Yeah, diff lock definitely makes it quicker, though. Whoop. Oh, damn it. Ran out of fuel. This thing eats up the fuel, man. One excursion is one tank of gas, basically. Especially running this stuff. It's just nuts. Oh, sit up straight. I don't know why I'm slouching so much today. I think it's because I try to get close to the microphone and I just end up like this permanently. I don't really need to. This microphone picks it up just fine. get off the mountain here. I have been impressed with the con, though. Considering how rough this environment is, it has handled it well. I know gaming with JJ, I've been watching his stream. He's obviously streaming all this, but he's doing it scouts only on hard mode, which is impressive. And it's been quite a challenge to do that. This environment really needs big trucks, but he's found several scouts that work pretty well. Earthroamer, for instance, handles a lot of this really well. That's probably one of the best new trucks they've added to the game. It's got lots of benefits to using that as your scout. Though the long wheelbase does make it a little tougher in this area, I think. Can I do a shortcut here? That looks like a shortcut, right? That looks like a shortcut. Yeah, it's definitely a shortcut. You got your emojis ready? Bug? Oh, there we go. Not too bad. At least I didn't dump it on its nose this time like I have been. I don't know if that was a shortcut as it was just a more fun way to go. To be honest. But you can see how this fine-tuned transmission, you can get the wheel spin just right, so that you're not just literally spinning your wheels with no results. I just have never been happy with the off-road transmission. The range that it gives you of gears just isn't enough for my taste. And you can get around that to some degree with some of the throttle modulation, but it's not as consistent. I don't see a difference in. There just doesn't seem to be a difference in gas usage from having the diff lock on to not having it on, so might as well just keep it on. That was fun doing from inside the cab. I saw somebody was doing that. They were streaming from inside the cab only, the entire game. That'd be a little rough to watch, I think. And plus, you don't get to see the environment that well. I thought it was a cool concept, but I don't know that I would. I know I couldn't do that. I'm not even going to speculate. I know I couldn't do that. It would drive me crazy. Come on, get out of the snow. There we go. Where are you going? Get in the road. Where'd you learn to drive? Jeez. Slide a little. All right. Moji's ready. Here we go. Another shortcut. Yeah, this isn't too bad. That's not too bad at all. Yeah, see, as long as I keep my foot in the gas, I don't nose over like that, or nose over too bad. So. All right. Let's go pick up some fuel. I don't know if I want to drag this trailer with me or not. God knows this thing needs it, though. And there's the scout trailer. See if we can get this flipped back over. Not a problem. Oop. Back up, back up, back up. Oh, what is the race thing here? I'll have to look at that. Here, we'll just refuel first. We'll come get this later. Well, maybe we won't. There's not a whole lot in there. By the time we get over the racetrack and back, we'll have to pull that last 20... Oh! Oops. Sorry. Whoa. Oh, that's not mud, that's water. I guess it is mud. Alright, it's just mud and water. I don't know what that is, but it's messing me up pretty bad. Come on. What in the world? Was this like a little island or something? There's a lot of water here. There we go. Come on, climb out. That's sketchy as all hell. Alright, let's see what this is. Show contest. Alright. You also want to race, join our ice race. The track isn't an easy one, so any slip could cost you a trip to the repair shop. Once you've fish your truck out of or car out of the ice. That's a little property damage for the chance to win a prize of money. Sign up today. Okay. All right, let's see how fast we can get around this thing. Stage completed. What? Where's the track? Come on, get over the hill. There we go. I don't remember what the gold time was, but whoa! That kept me from understeering out of the corner, so I'll take it. Whatever. Whatever works. Oops. I didn't realize I was in that gear still. Some chains would be useful here, for sure. Somebody spilled their bag of ice Doritos. Alright, there we go. Easy enough. Oh wait, I gotta do another lap? Oh crap. I gotta do another lap. Are they Cool Ranch? Yes, Rhea, they definitely Cool Ranch. How many laps do I have to do? Might run out of gas before I finish this thing. Almost got air coming over the top of that. Get my rally on, my ice rally on. When in doubt, flat out. Absolutely. Agreed. I need a Subaru with some spiked tires on it, man. Make this good. Okay, so this is the finish line. All right. There we go. Nice. Easy as pie. Pizza pie. All right. So let's get headed back in. What time is it? We got about 15 minutes left, so let me get back. Get things back on track. See, I told you, by the time I finish the race, I'm going to have to fill up with the rest of what's in that. What is going on here? Come on. I'm going to have to fill up the rest of the fuel that's in that scout trailer. Burned 11 gallons of fuel from the time that I filled up from this trailer to doing the race. It's just nuts. Alrighty. Oof. The tires on this seem to handle that stuff pretty well. The Russian tires. I hope not. That needs to be going much faster. Always did like the ice rally stages though in WRC. Swedish rally. It's a lot of fun to watch those guys go around, to drive around those skinny ass tires with the nails in them, with the screws in them, doing the whoops and everything else, using the snowbanks as bumpers basically. It was awesome to watch. These chunks of ice coming up to attack your car. All right, Buzzcola, take it easy, man. Thanks for hanging out. Prototype exploration unit. I don't know what that is. Keeps giving me these like random tasks. I don't even know what they are. I don't remember. Oh, maybe that was what I picked up at the watchtower, I guess. All right, and then I'm going to bring the bandit down here. Yeah. All right, park that. Grab the bandit. Let's see. here to here to here to here. And I'm guessing, I'm going to guess this road is the way to go to get to that watchtower. Oops. All right. Oh, 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 oh. Dang. That was bad. That was bad. That was really bad. Barely had enough to fix it. Yikes. Easy pudding. Yeah, I did. No doubt. That was rough. That was rough. Did not need to do that. This thing handles the terrain really well. I'll give it that. Doesn't seem to have too much trouble with it at all. Except for the damage that the ice Doritos do. Which everything struggles with, apparently. But I guess it's no surprise. I mean, these 8-wheel designs are made for this kind of completely crap terrain. All right. Reel this thing in a little bit. It's a little far away. There we go. toot. It's a pretty map. I will have to give it that. They did a good job with it. More Doritos, yeah. I mean, they're dangerous. So far, I haven't had too much trouble. But they're nasty on the suspension. I haven't popped any tires yet, which I've been happy about, because like when I was driving the A&K, I was blowing tires. I think I blew like 4 tires and didn't even make it halfway to my destination. So. I haven't popped any of these Tega tires yet. Look at the con. I'm just dragging it. Its wheels are barely turning. It's like, what's the base friction rate on this particular map? Because holy crap. Be willing to bet in real life this is like a 4-cylinder diesel. Like most of the Unimogs, like the older Unimogs, were all 4-cylinder diesels, little tiny motors, like 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel. It's crazy. Just need the torque, keep the drivetrain running. You don't want to go. You don't need to go fast. All right, what do we got here? We got a helipad here. Nice. There's the prototype exploration unit. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. How big of a 6-cylinder is it, Rio? All right, let's see where we are here. So, all right, there's a bridge there that we can't fix, or we have to fix. Some seriously sketchy environment, but if we can get down the hill here and go this way, I guess next. But we'll do that next stream. Yeah, it's probably small, but yeah, I mean, you get a 6-cylinder, a little 6-cylinder diesel, and it's, 2.5 liters or whatever. But it puts out, those little things put out a ton of torque. So that's what you need for equipment like that. All right, well, folks, that's it for today's iteration of SnowRunner. I'll be back on tonight. I'm trying to finish up this Atom fault tonight because I'm expecting Oblivion to pop up tomorrow or to drop tomorrow. So appreciate everybody hanging out, chatting, keeping me company, and hope you enjoyed the stream. have a good day. Have a happy Easter for those of that celebrate Easter, and have a good weekend. And we'll see you tonight. Peace.